Good morning, guests. Welcome to this special edition of Broken Not Shattered. I am your host, Ike. My co-host today is not with me because you could tell that I am not in my normal location. I am somewhere in Italy having a short vacation. But my guest is someone that most people might recognize. Once a beauty pageant queen for the whole country of Nigeria, uh, a very powerful and successful businesswoman who has dedicated most of her life, a part of her life, to human trafficking. But outside of that, she has a lot to tell us as she turns the big 4-0. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today on this special occasion, my guest, Dr. May Ikeora. Hey, May, how are you? Welcome to Broken Not Shattered. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm good. Very
Good,
well.
good, 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 good. Thanks for making out time to be on the show today. I know you have a very busy schedule. You're a very busy woman, but I thought it'd be nice to have you speak. I've been out here for the last couple of days in Italy, and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful part of the country that I'm in. But I just remembered the work that you've done in human trafficking and all that great stuff that you've done. You're also the big CEO of this great cosmetic line that has expanded out of Nigeria and is now gone global. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
As a successful businesswoman, May, what are the challenges that you normally face on a regular basis? What have you faced? I mean, everybody sees you, you look the part, everything is so glamorous on the outside. But are there any experiences that you've had that you would like to share that could have broken you but did not?
Well, thank you for that, and thanks again for having me. What I would say that most of my challenges are, I would say, I mean, the general business challenges everyone has. That's actually well known by most people, whether you're in the UK or anywhere in Europe or even Nigeria, most especially, where we all know how difficult it is to run a business. Every day there is one challenge or the other, and we just try to surpass it. I think one of the my biggest challenge as a businesswoman is, the territory at which I run my business, whether be it my job as an independent consultant on anti-trafficking or as a CEO of a skincare business. Personally, to me, it's actually how do you marry the two? Because I work in two very separate sectors. On one hand, I'm this serious-minded academic person, very technical in my career. I've been working in the area of human trafficking, anti-trafficking for over uh, over 15 years, which is a
Wow,
very long time.
that's a long
Uh,
time.
I, yeah, I have a PhD doing exactly the same thing. I've worked in different parts of the world on this particular subject, whether be it Europe, America, Africa. I would say that I started to build my work experience in Nigeria in the last 6 years. I
And
haven't really
before
worked
then,
in Nigeria. Huh?
so before
Sorry.
then, where were you?
Before then, I was in the UK, and most of my consultancy was in other parts of Africa, but just not Nigeria.
Okay.
And so I did write a book to this effect to ensure that to actually begin to tell the story of Nigeria and how they collaborate with other countries as it has to do with human trafficking. But going back to my challenge as a businesswoman, like I said, the first thing was also trying to marry the two things I do together. One in the area of beauty, another in the area of human rights. And but the truth is that these two things, they actually are kind of similar in a way. I deal a lot with women as the commodity for for trafficking. As you
Right.
already know, most women are trafficked than men, but boys do get trafficked as well for different reasons. We also in the skincare industry, I cater more to women than I cater to men. um, I, and what I would say is very common with these two things for me is how do we source? Are we sourcing from places that um, are from places that use forced labor
Abuse.
or
Yes,
use
exactly.
victims as well. So there is a lot of ethics that one has to adhere in business, where that's whether it does matter what kind of business it is. So in that way, I was able to marry this over the years, but it was actually a big challenge for me in terms of apart from the difference in subject area, but also in terms of my time as well, and also how people recognize me. If you go to my LinkedIn page, it's very you would see a lot of my work in the humanitarian sector and less of me in my business, and that's because I don't want to confuse people as to what I do. I guess that in itself is actually very, very big for me. Now, I think I'm getting to the point in my life and I'm beginning to ask myself, who is May really? In all of these things that I've done, who am I?
So who
And
is May then?
I'm
Who is
saying,
May
asking
really?
myself the question,
My
and now you're
audience wants to
asking me the
know who is
question.
May really. So who's May?
Well, I think at this point in my life, I'm beginning to question that and just ask myself. It's not like I'm still myself. I'm still May. May is still May, but it's actually about being intentional and conscious about what I'm putting out there, who I am, what I love. Because success in itself, like people would see me and think, oh, she's successful. And sometimes I'm thinking, what are you guys looking at? Like, what do you guys call success? Success might not actually be as you see it. Oh, you think I'm making a lot of money, or you think I have this big company, or you think I'm doing well, or you think I have a PhD, and that's what you call success. But the thing you realize about succeeding in setting or achieving goals is that when you get to that goal, you just lose all that enthusiasm that got you into that goal, chasing
The
that
drive, right?
drive isn't there
Yes.
anymore. So does that mean that you're not does it mean, because you think when you get there you're successful, and then you get there and you think you want more, you want something else. And so I start to see success at these days as how I feel, how happy I am,
Wow.
where I am, how healthy I am.
Right.
And we're in a world where everyone is just chasing so many things, and they define success in different ways. But as you
Right.
get older as well, you start to realize, ask yourself what's important, and you start to realize the things that don't matter anymore. So for me, even though people will see and say, oh, May is successful, I ask myself, May, are you truly successful?
Wow.
Which is the question then I'll ask myself is, are you happy? Are you healthy? Do you have good relationship with your family? Do you have the things that truly matter in your life? What do you care about? Those are the questions that I ask myself. And then
And
I am,
those are the questions I'm about to ask you. What do you really care about? What are the things that you're passionate about? What makes meaning to you as a woman? There are other women who are watching you today. They're like, oh my God, I want to be like Dr. May. I want to be like May. I want to be May the businesswoman, May the woman who's making an impact globally. What is it what is it that's important to you? What do you value most?
you see, I start to realize over time that I'm now going back to who I was as a girl.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
yeah, because that person, that girl, kind of knew what she wanted, just she didn't know how to mold it. She's not had experience in this world to understand what it meant, what she's looking for. How do you coin it in a society like this? I would say that something that's been so consistent since I was a child is injustice.
Okay.
I've always wanted justice for people, always. It is my biggest drive. I will do it for free to make
Wow.
sure that someone gets justice. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be about trafficking. It just has to be about people being human and treated as human. And I find that that gives me a lot of joy if I'm able to be generous with my time with certain people, be it a young girl who's trying to
Right.
find a way in life, who might make a mistake and I could direct them. I could also find it in meeting an older person who thinks that it's over for them and they cannot dream. And I tell them, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this at this age. You are incredible.
Wow.
I can do that in, seeing a homeless person and I'm thinking, what solutions can we bring? I can see that in anti-trafficking as well and think, how can I make girls realize that they are not commodities, and how can I stop these traffickers from making them one? How can I make people understand what's going on in our society? How do I stay conscious? Justice is not always about law. It's all about being completely human.
Right.
And I find that that gives me life in itself. But then as I get older, the difference I'm doing from what did as a young girl is thinking, how do I give justice to me?
Oh. Hmm.
Because all of this I speak about other people.
Yes, yes. So
Absolutely.
this is all you giving out, giving out, giving out, giving out.
What
But now
about
you're
me?
thinking, but now you're talking about how about me? What do I give to myself?
What do I give myself?
Right. So self-care. This is what I talk
Yes,
about. I mentioned this on one of my shows not too long ago, May, and I was talking about self-care. That unless we care for self first, it is
yeah,
difficult for you to care for someone else. If you're on a plane, when I was flying into Italy, right? The regular stuff. If the plane goes down, the mask is going to drop. They will always tell you, put your own mask on first
yes, yeah,
before you assist someone else, even if you have a toddler with you. So that goes to show you that if you're not centered well, right?
yeah.
You don't have self-care for May, then it's difficult for May to keep on going on and pouring out because May is giving all of herself. What is coming back in? Wow. Hold that thought, May. We're going to come back after this short break, and then I have some very other questions, more questions for you. This is interesting. Welcome back to Broken Not Shattered. May is in the house with us. Hey, Dr. May, we were just talking about stuff, and you said that you have given more of yourself as you get older. You're now giving back. I have a question for you. Next month, you will turn a year older, right? Next month, you will turn a year older, right?
Mm.
And you've accomplished quite a bit. Um, you don't look your age, which is something else. But more importantly, what would you say the biggest stigmas are or pressures are for women your age in society, especially in the society where you reside? This is seen mostly across board, but I know you're based in the continent of Africa and you see those challenges pop up on a regular basis.
Yeah.
What are those big stigmas and those big challenges that people have for you?
Oh, wow. I mean, the biggest one is marriage. It's like everyone is always asking you when you're going to get married and all of that. I'm lucky enough, I don't have those sort of pressures from my family. I would say that it's actually their goodness. It's their how understanding they are is what even pressures me. To be honest, I think if people are aggressive towards me when it comes to things like that, I don't even respond. But when it's people come at me with this with love, and which is how my family come, like, want me to meet someone nice that understands me, that that would add some flavor and love into my life and some happiness and joy into my life. That's what they want from me. And they don't want, it's not like I don't have suitors or whatever it is, but at this point I just feel like if I've waited this long, I might as well
Get
get
it right.
it right.
Get it right.
So that pressure is there, and then you watch all your friends get married right in front of you. And um I think in my early 30s, there was that feeling of, you would feel, oh, what's wrong with you and all of that. But I feel like as I got older, that kind of dropped. It wasn't really about, because I know myself, I see myself. I don't think I'm ugly. I don't have a bad attitude. Don't get me wrong, we all have our good and bad sides and all of that. So do all married people as well. So it doesn't mean that because one girl got married, that means she's perfect and I'm not. Um, well, but the pressure is there. Even in the way in Nigeria people respect people. I've seen a situation where I'm older than a girl. She's married, maybe she has one child or whatever it is, and all of a sudden, people feel that she's more respectable than I am. I think what's really helped me in the society is probably maybe the way I carry myself, what I do, how I see myself, and I don't really allow those things bother me. I mean, I walk into any room like I own everything there. So I guess
That's just me.
I think when people look at that, they will think, "Ah, I don't think anything is going to phase this person, so there's no
Mhm.
point." But I wouldn't deny the fact that the pressure is there. Um, I would say for me, it is actually reducing rather than increasing, right? I think it follows different phase where at this point, is it that people just think, oh, when they think of your age, they will think, oh, she just wants to get married. So if a guy meets you now, they think, oh, she wants to get married. Definitely at this age, of course, she wants to get married. So even before they get to know you, they already have this conception that that's what you want.
And so
But
you jump for it.
sorry.
And so they expect you to jump for it.
Yes, but at the end of the day, they don't realize that sometimes, just because you're a certain age doesn't mean every man you see is a potential husband or whatever.
Right.
So that is like one of the challenges. And I feel like, it's not just people my age, it's actually girls in their 20s, that also go through this pressure. And you see, marriages are so easy in Nigeria. People get married easily here. People get married every day. Uh, and I feel like people get married easily now than they did in those days, because I feel like these days people get married for the wrong reasons, and that's why we are seeing a high rate of divorce among very young people getting married tomorrow because they know that marriage doesn't cage them. I mean, I'm in Nigeria and I see like there are more married men and women out there outside, if you know what I mean by outside.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There are single, I see a more respectable single people than I see more respectable married people in,
Wow.
I would speak for Lagos
Okay.
and Nigeria. I have been in a place where I have married people with me and I'm single, and it's a guy saying, I am looking for the married women. Simple as plain. That's what's going on in Lagos. So for some of us who are not married, we just hope that what we see out there wouldn't discourage us from that institution called marriage,
Mm.
honestly, because I don't see anything out there there are very limited encouraging relationships out there, be it, just normal relationship. And so that's, for me, I would say is the biggest thing I see, that the stigma of not being married and all of that, and people thinking that you're not successful, you're not fully successful.
So how do you navigate that? So how does May navigate this pressure of marriage and family and all that stuff as a single woman who's done very well? How do you navigate? Because that's what I want to get from you. How have you been able to navigate that challenge? Because there's someone out there watching and listening, and she's wondering how has she been able to overcome it, if at all you have.
Huh, I wouldn't see. I tell anyone that is watching out there, don't look at me and think I'm strong. I'm not that strong. I I almost got married as well. And I'm so grateful to God somehow that I was able to. I knew it wasn't the right thing to do. And but I also thought that maybe I'm also wrong in the sense that I don't know, I might not know everything that I want. So maybe this person is even what I need, but I didn't I but there was something in my heart that tells me there's so many things wrong about this situation. And we all have that nagging thing at the back of our mind, but we are between the devil and the deep blue sea. Oh, the devil being, you know, going out in society and people stigmatizing you, or
Right.
having to patch with the wrong person
Person.
as a partner. So there's that. And there are a lot of women struggling with that decision. There is a lot of strength that comes, and courage that comes with saying, I will leave my truth and I will tell my truth. And I also know that my truth also could hurt me. And then
Mm.
sometimes I might be on my own, and sometimes I might lack the companionship that I need from this, or sometimes I might lack all these things that you imagined you would not have. But trust me, there are some people in marriages that don't have that you
A lot
think
of
you're
people are miserable in their a lot of
in
people are
marriage.
miserable in their marriages.
So
There are a lot of Mm.
my thing is telling myself the truth, and the truth is not just about the good stuff, it's also the bad stuff. And also realizing, and so I think someone told me, one of my friends that turned 40 last year, and she said to me, you know what, May, what I've just realized after turning 40 is that I'm not caring about those things as much anymore.
right.
I'm not. It's
Mhm.
not. as prominent. It's just incredible how that has switched for me. And she said to me, May, trust me, when you turn 40, you will understand what I'm saying. These things wouldn't matter to you. You would completely shift your focus. And so if you meet someone, they already know they're meeting a very matured woman who knows exactly what she is looking for. And even for me, I'll see even my attitude in life. I'm a more matured woman. My behavior is different. The things that I don't quarrel over stupid things anymore. Like there's a lot of things as if I don't waste my time. If I like you as a person, you don't have to chase at me too hard. If I don't like you, I don't like you. I mean, there isn't that all that games we play as young people isn't there anymore.
So you're
So I
becoming more and more self-aware,
more self-aware, exactly, celebrating myself more. So both the things you asked me in the beginning and now they just all marry together, from your career to you as a person. I mean, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I was such a workaholic. When I mean a complete workaholic. And now I try to live a very harmonized life where I'm thinking on a Sunday. I went to, like when you said you're very busy, and I think you're thinking about the May you used to know, very, very busy. I am busy, but I think that you cannot be too busy for yourself.
Right. That's right.
So I'm not today. I'm not. I create time for myself.
Right.
I take my rest. I appreciate myself. I feel like I'm a bit of a baby girl now, more than I used to be. I mean, for those who knew me in my 20s, they would say May dresses like an old woman, like a married old woman. And now they're thinking, what's going on? Is she getting younger? Is she getting older? I mean, if you look at my pictures in my 20s, my late 20s or my early 30s, you would probably say, it's not the same person. So I thank God for everything, really. I think I have God to thank because my spiritual journey has contributed immensely to me understanding this and in knowing that there is no one greater than God in itself. And it's not just about what I'm saying as, I'm trying to be all religious and all of that. No, this is my spiritual life. It has got nothing to do with churches or any human being. But it has to do with me living my truth with my Father and understanding I'm such a flawed human being and understanding that I put God first before I do anything. And I also see the difference when I don't put God first, because when people talk about how their relationship with God is so perfect, my relationship with God is not that perfect. I would say that. But if we could see God as a friend, and I say, Ike, you're my friend, I will tell you when I'm making a mistake and how I truly feel. And sometimes they might not be very nice things I'm saying. And that makes you and I closer. Why can't I tell God the same thing? God, I'm not feeling so great. I'm not feeling like I like this thing. I'm feeling like something else. I feel like I want to party, but I don't even know how to control that. Or honesty.
Vulnerability. And that is what the relationship is all about. It's the ease of the relationship.
Absolutely.
Like you said, you don't see him as some spooky ghost out there. You really see him as a father or as a friend, because you have this very vulnerable relationship with him where you can openly tell him how you feel. He's not going to judge you. He's not going to condemn you. And then you guys are going to go back and forth, and he can completely understand. And that's where the relationship is. It is in that bonding of, I can be who I am because you know me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I can tell you exactly my struggles because you wouldn't judge me. You genuinely love me for who I am. And that's what. And if sometimes we can transfer that kind of relationship into our own personal human relationships, we'll have better relationships where people can just be themselves. People say, "Oh, Ike, you're not transparent. You're not transparent. You're not transparent." And I keep on telling them, for me to be transparent, there has to be an enabling environment where I can be myself. Because there's some people too who I'm very open and transparent to, and they're like, "Wow, this guy is as transparent as he can be." Why? Because in those relationships, I can be myself. They're not going to judge me. They're not going to judge you, May. They're just going to be able to be yourself. And in those environments, you blossom better because that's what you're talking about that you have with your father in your spiritual walk. But also, there must be some elements of brokenness. So how do you now deal with the brokenness?
Well, I was going to say there's a key word you mentioned there, and that's judgment. And, we read also parts of the Bible so many times, and maybe one day we truly understand the version that we've read.
Okay.
And for me, there are different versions, but this thing about judgment, and the Bible says, do not judge.
Right.
And and one day I just had this epiphany, and it was just watching a movie. And have you ever watched a movie where you're supporting the protagonist to kill someone?
Right.
But you shouldn't murder. Murdering is a bad thing. But
Yeah.
somehow you're like happy that he's killed someone. Like, the reason why is that you're watching a movie is like being God. You see every part
everything
of
play out. Yes.
every play out. You see it. So someone is trying to judge you now and say you're not transparent. You can't see, like, that's the version you're seeing. You're not seeing everything.
Right.
You don't see everything. And so if we understand what the Bible says about judgment, do not judge. It's not because of so many other things that we are thinking about, so that you shouldn't be judged by God and whatever it is. It also helps you as a human being to understand there are so many sides to a story that you can see. Even for you as a person, when you meet someone, it takes a lot of practice for you to say, this person has treated me this way. Can I see it another way? Before, if you watch somebody that you don't like, you don't even know what it is that they are struggling with as well. You don't know what they do in their darkest moments, in their room, how they cry, but they come out and they feel so strong. So when you say, you even for the title of your podcast, broken and not shattered. All of us are broken.
Correct.
All of us are broken.
We're all broken people.
Living in a vessel, and that at the end of the day, we can show to people who allow us without judgment to be completely ourselves. And that's what I seek for in people. And that's how I stay not shattered. Who are the people around me that take me without judgment?
Wow.
And those are the people that keep you alive.
Wow.
God is the center of it all, but he gives us people around us. Your brothers.
Who take you for who you are without judgment.
Without judgment. And even when you judge yourself, they're able to remind you of who you are, because we forget all the time. We forget how incredible we are as people.
Who you truly are.
We forget. We are very. It's very easy for us to admire someone else's life, and it's very easy for us to say to admire, or would I say to glorify someone else and say they are great and
or adore them, or yes.
We don't affirm ourselves. We don't affirm ourselves truly. Even when I see people on Instagram going, I'm this, I'm strong. The truth is, I said, the reason why men don't say they are strong is because they already know they are, because society also helps them with that narrative.
Right.
As women, we'll always keep saying we are strong, and we'll keep proving that we're strong because we don't believe it just yet.
Wow. But sometimes you might say I'm strong, but deep down, you're just
everything is in the feeling.
Just as weak
emotion.
As we can be. Yes.
Exactly. It's in the feeling, it's in the emotion.
Wow. This is May I know you and I can go on for forever. It's a 30 minutes podcast. As we wind down, May, first of all, I want to say thank you for making out time this Sunday morning, wherever you are in Lagos. I think you're in Lagos,
Yes,
and
Lagos.
I'm out here in Venezia. I fly back later on today.
Lucky you.
Great vacation, just time to relax. As we wind up this show, what can you tell the women out there who are watching? Just 1 minute. Take a minute and say something out there to the ladies who are watching.
I would just say, I know you hear this all the time, and you hear that you're unique and you're special, but it's not just about you as a woman. It's anybody. It's the man watching. You're unique. You're special. Just take time to figure that is you, and understand that it's okay to be anything that you feel is not so great. We all have weaknesses. We all have our strengths, but that's why we are all in this world, to help each other. If everybody did what they were sent on this earth to do, this place would be a better place. But guess what? We live in a world where everybody is trying to be like someone else and not who they're supposed to be.
Wow.
Because they feel like it's better to be a doctor or to be this thing or to be that because it looks nicer. But I can tell you that when you find your purpose, it's almost like you've gotten
And
home.
that was what I was just about to say. Find your purpose. Once you find your purpose, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Dr. May, thank you so much for making out time to be with us this day. It has been such a joy and a pleasure to have you on this show. I know our audience are going to ask 1,001 questions when to have you back again, and we will try to have you back. I'll look into my calendar and find out what's a good time for you to come back again. If you are available, can we have you back?
No, absolutely.
Okay, sure. So we'll make our time to have you back. I'm hopefully Obi will be there to ask you all the questions that he would have loved to ask you, but he's not online today. It's a pleasure and a joy. We have famous 3 words we end every show with, and it's peace, love, and more grace. So I wish you all that peace,
Thank you.
love, and more grace. Thank you
I
so much.
received it. Thank you.
See you soon. That was Dr. May, our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wind down, it has been a pleasure and a joy. I have a flight to catch, so your boy is about to leave. Take care and see you soon on the next edition of Broken Not Shattered. Love you. Bye.